There is a quiet crisis happening right now. Men are struggling, not just financially or physically, but emotionally. We're disconnected, we're lonely, we're burnt out, and we're still pretending we're fine. And in my opinion, we've been pretending for far too long. We've built careers, we've built families, hey, we've built bodies, but somewhere along the way, we've lost ourselves. We've lost the ability to feel, we've lost the ability to talk, we've lost the ability to be seen, not as strong and successful, but as a human, with feelings, with emotion. Because for generations, we've been told that being a man meant not feeling at all. That strength meant silence, that pain was a weakness, and that real men hold it together no matter what comes their way. But here is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. We're breaking not because we're weak, but because we've been carrying too much alone, and we've been carrying too much for too long. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show today. I am so excited for the episode that's coming your way. What I've done here is culminated a heap of things from here, a heap of things from there, and put them together as a blueprint for the modern man, because I'm seeing a lot of men, I'm talking to a lot of men after my presentations at work, in the gym. And look, we are on the surface okay, but once you crack past that surface, once you get a little bit deeper, you realize we're all having the same problems. But we don't realize we're not alone in this situation because we don't talk about it. So today I'm hoping to open up that conversation. So I want to encourage you something. If this resonates with you, or if you know a man in your life, a boy in your life that may benefit from this message, I want you to share this episode with them. Because hey, we're not going to judge them, we're not going to tear them down. Rather, we're going to reframe what it means to be a man in 2025. We're going to reframe what masculinity is in this modern world. And if you are new to the show, welcome to the family. Team, we are here to level up your physical, mental, and emotional resilience. Look, I'm here to make your life a better place. Look, I'm here to make your life better because I know making your life better will make this world that I live in, that my kids are going to grow up in, it'll make this world a better place. And it is my compulsion to help as much as I can. If you've seen one of my keynote speeches before, oh yeah. Thanks for being engaged, and thank you for following up and listening to this show. This is going to be a blueprint for you for the months and years to come to make your life better just that little bit every single day. Enough of the motivation. I'm excited about the episode. Do the liking, do the subscribing. Make sure you follow along the journey that we are going on here. And without further ado or padding for minutes on this podcast, let's talk a little bit about modern masculinity. Every single man inherits a script of what being a man looks like. For some of us, it was from our fathers, stoic, distant, doing their best, but emotionally they were unreachable. For others, it may have been from the movies. The hero who never flinched, never cried, never failed, never slept, but always saved the day. But now I feel in 2025, that old script of what it is to be a man just doesn't fit anymore. We're living in a time that demands emotional intelligence, openness, empathy. But most of us never actually learned these skills. We've learned how to build walls. We've learned how to build a fortress. We've never learned how to build a bridge to connect. And I want to really highlight that point. Because if you are a man and you are listening, you're like, Bart, I've tried to be vulnerable. I've tried to have more conversations with my partner. I've tried to get in touch with how I feel, but I just can't. I don't know what's wrong. Understand you're not broken. It's not your fault. It's just that we need to learn new skills. Or perhaps you are someone who has a man in your life who is this. They're a fortress. It's hard to really understand how they feel. Understand that it's not their fault. They just need to learn some new skills. And I feel like in 2025, we've been told to be everything. We've been told to be strong, but gentle. We've been told to be driven and proactive, but also balanced. We've been told to be protective and also vulnerable. And look, it's an impossible balance. It's an impossible expectation. And the result from trying to be everything all at once is exhaustion and confusion. Men are collapsing under the pressure of trying to live in two different worlds, the old one we were taught and the new one we are expected to fit into. So we do what we know. We bury the discomfort. We sweep it under the carpet. We bury it in work. We bury it in alcohol, in overtraining, in pornography, in distraction. Anything that keeps us from sitting still long enough to actually feel what's going on inside. It's our survival mechanism. And the hardest truth men have to face isn't that we're sad or scared or lonely. It's that we've become so disconnected from our own emotions that we just don't know what to do. We know when we're angry, absolutely. We know when we're frustrated, but ask men to describe how they feel beyond that and you will get a blank slated face. Because we've never been taught the language of emotion. We were taught to fix things, not feel them. We were taught to be praised for doing and not being. And we grew up emotionally mute. And so I feel like this is why men feel unseen, even in the middle of a thriving relationship, even surrounded by people who love them, because connection doesn't come from presence. It comes from openness. And this is the real reason for today's episode. And look, there is a silent epidemic happening right under our noses. Men are dying younger. They're drinking more. And they're ending their lives in a heartbreaking numbers. And so often it's the men no one expected. The ones who looked like they had it all together, but on the inside they obviously didn't. So what does it look like to change this? How does a man start to evolve without losing the parts of himself that make him strong? I've put together a blueprint for you. It's not perfect, but it's practical. It's action. This is a map for any man who knows something has to change, but doesn't know where to start. And as the old adage goes, if you don't know where you're headed, if you don't know what to do, we must first look internally. To find where we want to go, we have to start by looking at ourselves. My first tip is actually my first rule of resilience. I want you to own your reality. I want you to own what's happening in front of you. I don't want you to just distract yourself from the things you are feeling. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. So I want you to stop saying, I'm fine, if you are not. I want you to start naming what is true. I want you to say, hey, I'm tired. Hey, I'm angry. Hey, I'm lost. I'm even scared. Honesty is the first act of strength. It's not weakness, it is leadership. And this is so much easier said than done, I know. So as I always say with self-development, I want you to start small. Even if it's just once in your day, when someone asks you, hey, how you going? You say, hey, it's been a rough few days. I'm not at my best today. That small action is a gate. It all of a sudden opens. And once you practice that again and again and again and again, small little 1% actions, you'll start to see the change start to happen in you. All of a sudden, you're not just having small talk about the footy and the weather. You're talking about how you feel, and you're talking about your mates and how you can best look after them. The second tip I want to give you is to build an emotional vocabulary. And once again, start small. No big sweeping changes. Remember, big sweeping changes in any part of your life, your training, your emotional intelligence, these changes that are too big are not sustainable. Instead of just saying, hey, good or bad, I'm good, I'm bad, I want you to try words like tense or lonely or disappointed or hopeful or overwhelmed. Stretch the words that you normally use within your day. Language expands your awareness. The more language you can get a grasp of, the better we can describe how we feel. Awareness changes your behavior. And remember, you cannot manage your emotions that you cannot name. So let's find a different way to name them. Let's work on the way we communicate by the words that we use. Tip number 3 is to move from isolation into brotherhood. This is all about connection. Men heal in a community. We always have, and I think we always will. We used to have tribes, workshops, footy teams, spaces where men worked together and also struggled together. So I want you to find the modern version of that for you. It could be a gym. It could be a men's group. It could be a football team. It could be just a mate that you can be real with. The goal isn't to fix each other. It's to stop pretending that we're okay and to stop pretending that we can get through life alone. The amount of times I have seen solo trainers in the gym transform into social butterflies is outstanding. I have seen men come in heavily tattooed, bearded to the gills, jacked beyond jacked, come in, put their headphones in, wear their hoodie, and train like that for months. But then after a while, they all of a sudden give a nod to the person next to them. That person gives a nod back. They exchange names. They train with each other. They develop a relationship. And all of a sudden, they've got that mate that they can rely on. They've got that mate that isn't just of like mind to them or like interest, but someone that they can rely on. The only reason they found that is because they went into a community, because they went into a place where they can find like-minded people that may be a good fit for friendship to them. I've said it before, but I want to put a different twist on it. There is definitely a loneliness epidemic happening at the moment. The more digital we become, the more isolated we become, the more time we spend in our one-bedroom apartment online, the lonelier we're going to get. But there's also a flip side to that. We also have a friendship epidemic, because all of a sudden we are meeting our friends technically, but we're meeting them online. And we know the human body does not respond to connection online the same it responds to connection in person. And so if you're listening to this and you don't have a gym, you don't have a men's group, you don't have a footy team, you don't have a mate, it is my sincere and utmost recommendation that you find that community for you and find it face-to-face. Don't find it online. Your health, your future, your mental health rely on it. Number 4 is to take radical responsibility. This once again is all about owning your circumstance, owning your situation. I want you to listen carefully, and I want you to stop blaming your partner, your job, and your past for why your life is the way that it is. I want you to own the problems in front of you. And then I want you to do something about them. We cannot fix the problems unless we take ownership and responsibility of them. And when you take responsibility, you regain your power. You can move forward. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a path back to your strength. And so I want you to be very honest with yourself. What are the problems in your life? What are the health gaps that you're missing? Maybe it is friendship. Maybe it is relational health. Maybe it is you don't know how to tell your wife how you actually feel. Or maybe it is your physical health. Maybe you have put on a few kilos over the last little while. Your metabolism slowed down and you can finally feel it now that you're getting older. I want you to find those problems and bloody own them. I want you to reel them in like a big fish, and I want you to hug that fish so that you can take it home. Because we can't cook that fish and we can't rely on the nutrients from that fish unless we take ownership of it. Great analogy on the fly there. But I want you to be radical about it. I want you to own the good things about your life and the bad. Take responsibility so that we can move forward. And number 5 is a really important one. It's all about service. I learnt the importance of service to our humanity when our son Aurelian passed away. He passed away and he left us with 3 very valuable lessons, and they are courage to see the journey through, gratefulness, to be grateful for everything that we do have, and of course, service, to serve others as a mean to make this world a better place. And if you're a man living in this world and all you're doing is taking, all you're doing is getting a paycheck, all you're doing is ticking the boxes, I need you to find something in your life that gives back. Because I can guarantee you, 10 times out of 10, you give back to a community, you give back to your world, you give back to your family, you give back to your community, and you will get that effort and more back. Service is a superpower. Being a man is not about status. It is indeed about service. Serving your family by being present. Serving your friends by listening. Serving your community by leading with integrity. You don't have to save the world. You don't need to be that superhero that acted as your father figure when you were young. You just need to show up for the piece of this world that is yours. Show up for what you can impact. I then, number 6, want you to choose discipline over distraction. You can't feel good if your habits make you weak. I want you to take care of your body. I want you to train. I want you to sleep. I want you to eat real food and stay away from that hyper-palatable, hyper-processed stuff. Discipline is not punishment. I'm going to repeat that again because it's still a misconception in the fitness industry. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. Too many times I've had a conversation of, Bart, you are too disciplined. You are too regimented on your diet. You need to loosen up a bit. You need to enjoy your life. Discipline, it's not punishment. Because I know the food that I want to eat, and emphasis on the word want, that's going to serve me for hours and days later. However, the food that other people want me to eat, the hyper-processed stuff, that stuff's going to make me ill. It's going to make me step backwards instead of step forward. It's delayed gratification. And don't get me wrong, I indulge, and I indulge hard, absolutely. But my discipline keeps me in line. My discipline keeps me in line, particularly when motivation is low. Always remember that discipline will eat motivation for breakfast. And number 7 is learn to sit in discomfort. Seek it and then sit in it. The modern man's biggest fear is not failure. It's feeling. We tend to run from discomfort instead of sitting in it. But that, my friends, is where growth lies, in that bit of discomfort, in that space. It's in the awkward silence. It's in the difficult conversation. It's in that honest look you give yourself in the mirror, even though it is excruciatingly uncomfortable. I want you to learn to stay in it, and I want you to learn to breathe through it. Because you'll discover that pain doesn't destroy you. We shouldn't run away from it. It actually refines you. It sharpens you. It shapes you. And number 8, I still get the feedback that this sort of stuff is weak, that it's petty and then it won't move the needle. But I want you to hear me. This stuff helps. Let's open our mind and try something different. It's all about practicing gratitude and being present. Life moves bloody fast. It moves so fast, particularly when you have kids. But gratitude slows it down. Every day, I want you to find one good thing, a laugh, a sunrise, a moment with your kid. I want you to find it. I want you to note it. I want you to acknowledge it. And I want you to smile about it. Because that's how you rebuild connection. One moment of awareness at a time. You can journal it. You can write it down. You can even speak it out loud to your partner. You can put a reminder in your phone to find something that you are utterly grateful for. If you can't find anything that you're grateful for, be grateful that you have thoughts. Be grateful that you have the peace of mind to seek out a podcast that may help. There's always something to be grateful for, but if we don't practice it, we're going to find it hard. So if you do find this stuff hard, stick with it. Stick with it for months. Stick with it for years, and you will see your mind and your brain change. Team, being a man today is not about dominance. It's about having a better direction. It's about taking your pain and turning it into your purpose. Taking your pain, turning it into your power. It's about being strong enough to lead, but being humble enough to learn. The men who will shape the next generation aren't the loudest or the toughest. They're not. I know this through vast experience. They're the ones who have done the inner work. They're the ones that have the peace of mind to work on themselves and not stand on mountains and scream about it so everyone can tell them how good they are. They're the ones who can say, I was broken, but I made the choice to rebuild. The world doesn't need more men pretending that they're fine. It needs more men who are willing to stand up and say, hey, I'm still figuring this out. I don't know. But I'm not going to hide anymore. And so if you're listening to this and something inside you stirred, something inside you made you feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable, or you had an epiphany, a thought nugget, this is what I'm talking about. This is the spark of change. This means that you are still here. This means that you care about yourself and this world. Hey, and you might not have all the answers. That's absolutely fine. But you have a place to start, and you just need to start showing up. So show up for yourself and show up for your people. Show up for your community. Show up for the next generation of boys who will learn what it means to be a man, not by what you say, but how you live and through your actions. Real strength is not about silence. It's built in honesty, in ownership, and in service. The modern man is not lost. He's just waiting for permission to come home to himself. I'm going to say something a bit selfish on the outro of this episode. I'm finding more out about myself than anything with this podcast. I'm learning to express my own self through these words, and through these words I'm also hoping that you'll learn to express yourself too. I mentioned at the top, but if you have a man in your life that is a fortress, that doesn't have the skills to ask for help or tell how they're feeling, then this episode's for them. I want you to share it with them. And if you took something out of it, that 5-star rating goes a long way into spreading this message. I'm a firm believer that we can make generational change for our kids, not just men, but for women, for our families, for our future, for our world, with the changes that we make today. And there's no change that is too small to start that change, to start that shift. And that's why it means the world to me that you're listening to this show. So thank you for making it this far. I do really appreciate it. If you want to engage with me, if you want to ask questions, if you have any comments, any feedback, you can write in at hello@bartwalsh.com.au. If you have any questions, I'll put it on a Q&A episode. They come out every other week. Single topic episodes come out every other week in between those weeks, if that makes any sense. But I'd love to hear from you. I love helping you. I love helping this community. So let me know how I can help in any way. And hey, if you want to get me in your workplace, if you want to get me into your community for a presentation, reach out as well. There should be a brand new website out, hopefully, by the time this episode comes out. So check out that website. Hopefully a new showreel will come too, so you can see what impact I'm making in person and not just in your ear holes digitally. I got to stop saying that term. Team, thank you for listening to Built Resilient. Really appreciate everything you give me. And remember to choose resilience. Thank you.